Welcome to Real Wizardry, where we make your life more magical. In this video, I'm going to be answering some common questions about my magical man cave that I've been getting a lot on all of the forums that I'm a member of. I'm a member of a lot of, especially Harry Potter forums, and some of the questions that I get are related to the magical man cave, so I thought I'd do a bit of a questions and answers and explain what's going on here and how I use this space, how I constructed it, all of those sorts of questions. And if you're interested, it's all coming up right now. So the very first question that I tend to get quite a lot, especially on the Harry Potter forum that I'm a member of, Hogwarts Underground, if you haven't checked that out, please check that out, it's on Facebook, is do I ever use this space? Or is it more sort of a labour of love where I've just got to keep on making stuff? Is it like a film set, or do I actually come out here and use it? Now obviously I use it for my YouTube channel, that's a bit of a given. I mean, you're watching a video right now. But yes, I do use it. I use it quite a lot. I've got a chessboard over there that I play chess with my son. I've got a guitar over here that I play. I've got a TV right up there and I do watch that. I do listen to music out here. So when I'm constructing stuff, when I'm making stuff, and I do sort of sculpt and all of that sort of thing, I tend to use the bar area because it's flat and it's available, and often all I do is just put down a mat to make sure that all of the finish on the top is going to be safe, because I haven't fully finished that yet. I do want to do like a layer of almost glass resin over the top, so I just sort of protect that for now and then just crack on with sculpting whatever. I could sculpt in clay, polymer clay like Fimo or something like that, and I tend not to do too much messy stuff. That tends to get done in the shed. But in the man cave, if I'm doing something creative and I tend to be sitting out here for hours, that's when I tend to do it out here because it's warmer. It's got full insulation and all of that sort of stuff, so I could stay out here pretty much all night. I could live out here if I wanted to. I don't want to. That's not what this is for. This is very much a bit of a play space. But yes, I do use it. I use it regularly. And as you can tell, I'm using it right now. Next question, how did I make the portrait move? Well, I'm going to disappoint some of you, I think. I actually bought a video from a company called Atmos FX. Now they do predominantly Halloween-y stuff, but they do something called digital decorating, where they do videos for all of the major holidays, Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, even St. Patrick's Day now, I think, and they've started getting into things like Valentine's Day and things like that. But Christmas and Halloween, and especially Halloween, are their really, really big ones. So I bought something called Family Feud, which is part of their Living Portraits series, and it's all about making a portrait move. Now, I don't know whether with the new Harry Potter thing coming out fairly soon, Atmos FX are going to start doing moving portraits with wizard themes. That would be ideal. There's no copyright issues as long as they do it in exactly the same sort of way as they've done it before, because it will be their copyright. So I have gone and bought a video from Atmos FX, but because they're also very Halloween themed, I needed to edit it quite heavily in order to match some of the things that I wanted to do. Now, because I'm a Ravenclaw, I wanted my woman in the portrait to look like Eleanor Ravenclaw. So I think she does. She's got a blue dress on. It requires a little bit of interpretation, but yes, she does look like she belongs in Ravenclaw House, I think. But I didn't want her constantly turning into a zombie or being stabbed or any of that sort of horror stuff, unless it's Halloween. If it's Halloween, sure, go gangbusters on all that. But for me, for most of the time, I wanted her to be fairly genteel, not to scare the living pants off anyone. So what I did, I put it in a program called Adobe Premiere and started editing it. So what I've done, I've essentially taken that video, I've taken the parts of that video that I think are PG, so there's no sort of screaming or aging or anything like that. I've taken out the audio as well, because most of the time portraits don't tend to speak. So all she really does is blink, turn her head a little bit, look straight down the camera lens and flash a smile, and then just sort of transition back into the normal standard starting pose, I suppose. On Halloween, yes, she does transform into a really old lady, and eventually she dies and decays. She turns into a zombie and does a bit of a jump scare. There's a whole load of stuff that she does, and it's all pretty cool. But I also needed a Christmas one. So what I did for that, I again took it into Adobe Premiere, and then I went to, I think it was Bing Image Creator, which is like an AI, generative AI thing, and I created a Santa hat. Now, to do that, I needed to make sure that the hat was on a shape, so it looked right. So when you're doing these prompts in AI, I needed to make sure that the hat was going to look plump and full and all of that sort of stuff, rather than just flat on a desk. Because the first time I asked for this Santa hat, it was just flat on a table. And it looked great, but it just wasn't what I needed. So I needed it to sort of be plumped out. So to be able to take it out in post-production in Photoshop afterwards, I said put it on a matte black ball so that I could then know that the Santa hat would look the right shape, but the black ball would be able to be taken out. And then I also said put it on a black background so that I could take out the black background too, and then it looks like this. So yeah, okay, I didn't do the whole portrait from scratch myself, but what I did do is take the video, edit it myself, put it on a computer monitor, frame that up using the same sort of stuff as is back here. It's like a dado rail sort of moulding to make a frame. And then I linked it up to a Raspberry Pi, and I think I've done another video on all of this sort of stuff, but it's far more advanced now than it ever has been before. This was a big problem. So I needed to auto start the video, link up with Home Assistant, and also have an ability whereby the videos can react to my smart home. Now that's no small task actually, because what I needed to do was to sync up. When something happens in my home, I send something called an MQTT message to the moving portrait, and the moving portrait then reacts and it changes. So I've added a fart routine to that moving portrait where I just overlay like a puff of smoke with a bit of a green glow and a farting sound effect. So when Ferdinand, my talking skull, curses people and says, you know, you shall be forever surrounded by stinky farts, the moving portrait turns into a farting image or farting video, and then the ghosts all sort of scatter and it fills with green smoke and all that sort of stuff within the ghost hole. So yeah, there's been a bit of tech behind that, and I think that's all quite good fun. Next up, how did I make the ghost hole? The ghost hole similarly was from Atmos FX, but there was a whole bunch of different videos that all needed to be edited together into a long video and looped. So that looping video again just goes onto a monitor. It used to go onto an iPad, but I kept on having to reach up to turn it on, and I didn't want that, so I wanted the same sort of functionality as the moving portrait, where it just auto started from a Pi routine or a Raspberry Pi routine. A Raspberry Pi is just a computer about that big, and it runs a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, I wanted the ghosts to just auto run, and the problem that I had was that the monitor that I bought, when you view it from underneath, all the pixels go a little bit weird and it almost inverts. It's almost like the black becomes white, the white becomes black, the green becomes red, and red becomes green, and the blue sort of fades away and all that sort of stuff. So all the pixels were going a bit weird. So the solution that I had for that, because it looked fine when viewed from above, is to turn the monitor around. By doing that, everything obviously was going to be upside down, so I then needed to go into the program and flip the HDMI input. And I couldn't do that just through hardware, so I needed to program it and all of that sort of thing. Now again, that reacts to MQTT messages too, so my smart home tells my ghost hole to be quiet when I'm recording, for example. So I open the door, I start recording this video, and the ghosts all suddenly stop wailing. Now normally when I open the front door of the man cave, it turns everything on, and it turns them on to default mode. Now default mode for the ghost hole is they're wailing, and there's music, and there's growling from the monsters that also live in the ghost hole with the ghosts. So it typically sounds like obviously if I'm recording something, that's going to be a real pain for you, because you don't want to listen to that while you're trying to listen to me. And it also turns off the heater, it turns off the fridge, and it tries to keep all of the background noise as low as possible so that you can hear what I'm trying to say to you. So there's no sort of buzzing, no sort of fan noises or anything like that. That said, there is still a fan on the Raspberry Pi that I'm using to record this video. So if that's a problem, I'm going to need to get an extension cable and keep the Pi away from the camera so that you can't hear the fan noise. I might even put the Pi up here somewhere, maybe, not quite sure yet. Might even put it down somewhere a bit further away so that you can't hear it on the camera. But at the moment, yes, the ghost hole is reacting to the smart home and it's all working exactly as I want it to. Okay, so those are my top 3 questions that I'm constantly getting about the Magical Man Cave. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments. I will answer them. Thanks ever so much for watching. I'll see you again next time with some more magical awesomeness. But until next time, as always,
stay magical.